This is not the video I intended to make this week, but browsing Amazon this morning, I came across some absolute steals in the Black Friday sales. These things range from lighting equipment to computer accessories to just general quality of life things for your office and workspace. This is all very time sensitive. The sale is only on for a handful of days and many of the products have very slight variations between them, so make sure you click on the links below in the description to take you to the exact listing mentioned in this video. This is the cheapest I've ever seen this. It's a Philips Hue starter kit with the E27, which is like the screw type bulbs, and it's got the bridge and two bulbs. And most YouTubers, when they say this, it's bullshit, but genuinely, this is the number one question I ever get, ever. If you follow me on Instagram or you followed the channel for a while, you probably know that my house is filled with Philips Hue bulbs, and I've helped set up, I reckon, 3 or 4 different mates in the system to put into their workspace or their house. And the number one thing I recommend is just get the bridge, just get the Philips Hue bridge, because the starter kits are usually very expensive. Usually the starter kit is 3 colored bulbs and the bridge, and it's around the $300 mark Australian. This is the cheapest I've ever seen it. This is a starter kit just with the white bulbs. They don't change color, but they are smart. You can control them from your phone or from Siri or Alexa or Google, and they connect through this bridge, and this system will set you up if you want to fill your whole office or house with them. So basically the bridge, you can tend to get, I recommend people get it for about $50 secondhand. The bridge at the moment is going for $43.95, which is like over half price. That's the cheapest I've ever seen that new. So that is a great buy. And then the starter kit with the E27 screw bulbs in white. They're not the color changing ones, but they are dimmable and controllable by Wi-Fi. $88. So basically, if you're, if the bridge is around $50, then you're paying like less than $20 each for these globes, for the Philips globes. There is a way to get cheap globes to fit the bridge from IKEA. I might cover that in a future video. If anyone is interested, let me know down below. But this is the cheapest I've ever seen this. And if you want to get into the Philips Hue system, like I've got in my house, this is the way to go. The one Philips accessory that I do definitely recommend getting is the Light Strip Plus. This is the one I have at the back of my desk here, and I also have it beneath my bed. And it is it's the number one thing I always recommend in the Philips Hue system. Many of the other things you can get, you can get third-party bulbs from IKEA, let's say, it's a bit of a workaround, but you can force them. There is a hack. There's a way that you can force them to join the Philips Hue system. Unfortunately, there is no third-party option that I found, no good third-party option that I found that has a light strip like this. So I definitely recommend this one, $85. I'm pretty sure, from memory, they retail for something around 120 to 150 Australian. $85, that is a steal, and that is just excellent value for money in the Philips Hue system. Speaking of value for money, if you do want to get some of the Philips Hue bulbs, they are better than the third-party ones. They work a lot easier. They're easier to sync. They're easier to change. The colors are more vibrant. This is the best price I've ever seen these as well. These retail for around $80 Australian each. And this is a 2-pack for $92. So that's almost half price on these. I've never, ever seen them this cheap. And it makes me wonder if perhaps there's like an upgrade, perhaps there's like a newer version coming, so they're getting rid of the old ones. But that is an absolute steal. The Philips ones are the best. My setup is a big mix. I've probably got half and half, but I would have spent probably $1,000 easily on Philips globes. That's the cheapest I've ever seen them. If you're interested in getting into the system, that is a steal. This next one is going to appeal especially to the MacBook users that are watching, but any computer with USB-C, this is going to be an excellent buy for you. This is actually the card reader that I use, but not only that, it's also my dongle, to expand my ports, or if I need to plug something in that has the older style USB. It's very fast and very reliable. Let me repeat that. Do not buy the hubs that plug directly into the side of the computer, or the dongle, and sit flush against the computer. I think the brand is Satechi, but there's lots of them on the market. They are absolute garbage. This Anker one is perhaps not quite as pretty as those because, they sit so nicely up against it, but this is super reliable and it's a really good card reader, if nothing else, a USB-C card reader. And yeah, you can also charge your computer through it as well. So 25% off, just over $50. That is an absolute steal. Card reader, hub, dongle, HDMI, charging. It's got it all. It's so good. These next ones are kind of boring, but very, very important. I actually have a little, like, what would you call it? Like a bug out kit. I have a little separate case for SD cards that I keep in the car just in case, because it has happened before. I've been stranded without a card in my camera, or I've had a card in my camera that's full that I can't overwrite because I haven't backed it up yet. So this is an absolute steal. These cards would have been, no joke, $300, $400, $500 a couple of years ago. 128 gigabyte, 180 megabyte per second speeds. This is more than almost anyone will need. These are actually faster than the cards that I use currently, and I shoot full time. I shoot every single day. So unless you're shooting sports, or something that you need to absolutely motor with a high resolution camera like an A7 R5 or R4 or whatever, for almost anything you'll need, photo, video, these cards are going to be everything you need and more. For $27, just get a handful of them. Why not? I am going to get this to replace some of my older cards that are like, I've got some 95, 120, 170 megabytes per second, and one or two of those older cards I'm going to put in my little case that just lives in the car, just in case I get stranded. So $27, that is just an absolute no-brainer. That is 128 gig is probably 2 days worth of shooting for me, I reckon. Full work days of shooting. So yeah, that is a deal and a half. Micro SD cards are actually so cheap at the moment. If you want to save even more money, you can even use these in an adapter and plug them into your camera. I don't know if there's anything wrong about doing that. It does work when you do it. But yeah, regardless, for a drone, for a GoPro, or just as a backup for, a cheap backup for your camera, $14 for a 64 gigabyte, 160 megabyte per second card. That is a fast card, and probably better than most of the cards that you own for $14. Again, just such a no-brainer, and you never know when you're going to need one. This next one is something you probably might not have expected to see in this video, but this is something very, very important to me. It's a Moleskine Classic hard notebook. It's the extra large size. This is something I use every day. And you're probably thinking $27 for a notebook. That's almost half price. Mind you, they retail for almost $50, but $27 Australian for a notebook sounds like a lot, but the quality is absolutely outstanding. I use this every day of my life. I basically run my life through this, and there's something to be said about using a product that is high quality. If you do that, not only am I more likely to write in it, and not only do I enjoy writing in it more, I actually keep all of my notes and my life more organized, because the notebook is so beautiful and so tactile, and it's just a pleasure to use. I naturally want to keep everything cleaner and neater and more organized. So I actually bought this over a year ago, and I haven't even used half of it. It's basically just like my daily planner. I write down new ideas, scripts, bits and pieces, and this is bigger than the classic Moleskine size. Super high quality. I absolutely love mine. I'm going to get another one just because they're on sale now, and for 2023, that's what I'm going to use. This is something that I've been looking at for a while. I've been looking at a smaller, quick release softbox, but also something that's quite rugged, because a lot of the quick release softboxes or octaboxes, if they tip over once, you break a spoke or you break a little joint or something in there, and the aluminium is quite frail. But these rods look really tough, and they're the sort of octabox that you actually snap in, as opposed to pushing it through and clicking it in like an umbrella. These ones actually snap up and down, and I really like this size, 65 centimeters. It's like a big beauty dish and a small softbox. It's somewhere in between. So I think I'm going to pick one of these up to be my new go-to. I tend to take a beauty dish around with me because that's the best thing I found in that sort of size range. But the beauty dish itself, you can't pack it down. I mean, it's quite compact as it is, but you can't fold it down. And I also think just this size would be really good for sitting at a desk, because I can't use a full-size Octa or a full-size, parabolic sitting here to light me while I do these videos. So $55, that's like 30% off. I think that is a great, that's a great buy. I'm about to pick this one up myself, and yeah, Bowens mount. So it's going to work with your Godox accessories. If you want to use it with the small flash, you just get one of the S-type brackets. They're called a Bowens mount bracket. That is a great deal. I'm definitely getting one of those myself. And I don't use this style of modifier myself anymore, but this is what I grew up using. This is what I used for probably 7 or 8 years, I reckon, from 2012 to maybe 2019, 2020, Octobox. And I don't think I had a Niwa one. I think I had Sellens, I had Godox as well. This is the one where the umbrella shaft goes into either your bracket or your little, your S-type bracket or your little flash bracket, and the flash goes inside. So you couldn't use this one with a big strobe, but something small like a speed light or perhaps an 8200, you could probably fit that as well. I mean, $38, that is just so cheap. And even if you have one already, it's a great idea to pick up a spare. Like I mentioned, these type of umbrella modifiers, if they tip over, it's so easy to break them. For a budget option, this will give you excellent light, and Octobox is one of the all-time best modifiers for sure. $38, no brainer. This one I purchased last week. I think I bought it a little bit more expensive than this. I can't remember, but I'm going to test this out because I'm redoing my ebook, which is got the best quality basic flash gear that you can get. My ebook, if you have been a follower for a long time, the ebook was about taking band promos for less than $100 or $150 or whatever it is. So this is where I landed. There's a lot of different options, but I think Niwa makes really good grip for the money, really good quality stands and grip for the money. This one's 9 feet, so 260 centimeters. That's taller than a regular ceiling, and it's taller than the little Manfrotto stands that I use, but it's just good to have a couple of these basic straight stands. It's also pretty heavy duty. If you're going to get a basic stand, don't get a shitty one that's going to blow over or tip over on set. This is made to handle a load of 5 kilos. I could very happily put my big Godox 8600 on that, and it would have no problem. I'm testing it out for this flash kit, and if it's good, I'm going to get another one, and they're going to be my background poles, because the current stands that I have for my background do not go as tall as this. They probably go only up to about 2 meters, 200 centimeters. So I'm probably going to get another one of these. I'm waiting for it to arrive. It should come in the next day or two. The next two are very similar. This is something that I own already, and it has become an absolutely invaluable part of my kit. You've probably seen it in my videos already, but this is a collapsible backdrop. I actually use it as a reflector. It's got a white side and a black side, and it's really big. It's like 5 by 6 feet. You can't do full length, but for a mid or a tight portrait, it's perfect if you want to use it as a background for that purpose. Instead, I actually use it as like a collapsible, polyboard. I just clip it to a stand and use it as a reflector or a negative fill if you turn it around. And for the money, under $50, to have a polyboard in your pocket, essentially, you could just put that at the bottom of your boot in the car, pile all sorts of other gear on top of it, and it takes up virtually no space. This product is so good. I would happily pay, I'd say 3 times as much for this product. That's how valuable it is to me. But to have it under $50, that's more than 25% off. I think everyone should have this in their kit, just for a very, very easy pop-up large fill, or negative fill, or cutter if you need to cut some light off someone. Very similar to that. I'm about to pick up one of these as well, but this is very similar, but also kind of like the opposite. Instead of bouncing light into it and off it, or reflecting with it, this is actually to shoot through. And this is basically a pop-up scrim, 150 centimeters by 200 centimeters. That's pretty big, actually. That's taller than I am, and I would put this on a stand or lean this up against something and shoot a light through it, even shoot a softbox or a beauty dish through it for an extra layer of diffusion. And until you've done that, until you've shot with a scrim or a diffuser like this, you don't actually know how valuable it is. But sometimes, especially with something like reflective products or you know, if you're shooting very detailed close portraits of a person, to have that extra diffusion is just a quality of light that is absolutely unmatched. I might pop up some images on the screen of some images of a band that I shot called Bridelands, and I used a similar setup to this to get just the softest, creamiest light possible, and I haven't been able to replicate it since. So I'm going to get one for my own, and yeah, again, under $50. It's more than 25% off. That is an absolute steal. Like I mentioned at the start, all this stuff is pretty time sensitive. You only have a few days to pick up this gear in the Black Friday sales, so don't delay. I've gone to the trouble of making Genius links for all of them, which are basically, if you click on it, it'll automatically redirect you to the Amazon store in the country of your choice. They are affiliate links. I get a tiny little commission from it, like maybe 1 to 2%, I think, if you buy any of these links, but it's at no extra cost to you. The cost is basically Amazon pays me a tiny fee for directing people to their site. But like I said, these are things that I actually use, or if I don't use them, I'm about to pick them up myself, and absolute steals. Please take advantage of these. I know I will be, and your life and photography will be better for it. If you enjoyed this video, check out the one on screen now where I use some of the equipment for a environmental portrait shoot, some of the equipment you see in this video. Check it out. Cheers.